Well, should we start?
I got a beer.
Let's do it.
All right, so up your butt, Joe Boo. Got a shot of rum here, and Joe Boo.
That's not the line, is it? He doesn't say up yours, Joe Boo, does you?
Up your butt, Joe Boo.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Welcome to the Movie Podium. Y'all ready
Hi.
for this?
Matt.
Thanks for having us.
How's it going?
Hi, Matt.
We're a weekly podcast where we collectively choose a movie to watch, and at the end of the week, we get together and talk about it. It's kind of like a book club,
But for movies.
For movies.
but for. We also came up with a set of questions to ask ourselves, such as, is this a top three movie in the year of its respective release? I'm your host, Matt Scott, and I'm here with my dudes, Daniel.
Heyo!
Dave.
I'm Dave. That's me.
Hey, you.
Hey.
Eric.
Hello. I'm Eric. That's me.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
And Cooking with Kevin.
And that's me.
That's
Cooking with Kevin.
me.
Cooking with Kevin.
Oh, that rum. All right, and without further ado,
He's whipping
we
up
present
food.
our next
Get
movie.
you in the mood.
Got a
little
little
liquid.
Daniel,
So
you want to give
stupid,
us
No. Oh,
a
yeah.
song?
Daniel, sorry.
The Cleveland Indians really suck, so the owner wants to move them to Miami.
Major League.
That ball wouldn't have been out of a lot of parks.
Name one.
Yellowstone.
That's not why she wants to move into. She wants to move him into Miami because she hates Cleveland.
because she wants to
It's
get
not
naked.
Cleveland, David.
Excuse me.
I
I think I even wrote that in my notes. Make sure to call it Believe Land.
Daniel
Too
is
bad
on
you
this
didn't read those
podcast.
before we started.
I didn't.
Yeah. All right. Well, happy birthday, Dave.
Thanks,
Happy
guys.
birthday.
Happy
birthday.
So Dave's birthday was March 3rd, and so each week that falls into our birthday, we're letting that person pick the movie to watch. And so this week, Dave chose an all-time posse classic in Major League. Thank you, Dave.
Certainly.
Except for Kevin. Kevin doesn't get to pick his.
Oh,
It better not be James
Wait,
Bond
why
or Thomas
doesn't
Crown
Kevin
Affair.
get to pick us? Because we're already doing Bond movies?
because we haven't
So-
done one in a while.
To say that I'm excited to talk about this would be an understatement. This is obviously one of my favorite movies of all time. It's iconic. It's got lines that are used in normal rhetoric now. I mean, you have the just a bit outside. It made some movie stars out of Charlie Sheen and Wesley Snipes, and even came up with the idea that closers having intro music. This was not done before this movie. So it, adopted our beloved wrestling figures and had intro music for closers. Thank you, Major League. So you guys ready for some random ass facts?
Oh,
Let's do it.
more than ready.
Oh, I
There's-
actually have one.
Yes, please.
Uh,
Let's see.
This movie takes place in Cleveland.
Eric, it's pronounced Believeland.
Sorry, this movie takes place in Believeland.
And it actually is mostly filmed, sadly, in Milwaukee.
Oh.
Milwaukee.
So this was filmed in this. Yeah. So it was filmed in the summer, and the Browns are having preseason games, and so a lot of this was filmed in Milwaukee because of the Browns. Actually,
Those darn Browns.
I know, right? Smelly team. Speaking of teams that got stolen or taken away, yeah, it happens to Cleveland. So this got a 7.2 on IMDb.
Is that higher than
That's a good
Thor?
one.
Yes, thanks for asking. So we've talked a lot about actors and how they looked being an athlete in our last podcast in Love and Basketball. And so I kind of wanted to talk about some of the players. I don't know what you guys know about some of these guys, but I'll kind of touch on a few of them and how their skills translated to baseball. Because I kind of misspoke on Wesley Snipes as I did more digging. So Wesley Snipes apparently is not athletic. He looks athletic,
Yeah.
but apparently there's not a single. And when you watch this, you kind of notice it. There's not a single scene of him throwing a baseball. There's a good reason for that.
Can't throw a baseball.
And
Really?
and if you've noticed, most of the scenes with him running are in slow motion. That's because he actually is not a fast runner, and they wanted to find a way to make him look fast.
Well, I mean, he came out with his pajamas and beat those two guys.
In slow mo.
Oh, yeah, that's
slow-mo.
In slow-mo.
Isn't that crazy? So
Yeah.
that was kind of a bummer to find out. He's actually not. He looks athletic, but that's just muscles.
Show muscles.
Dennis Haysbert. Yeah, show muscles, as we say in the business. Dennis Haysbert is Serrano, and we talked about him in Love and Basketball because he's the dad in that. Well, he actually can hit home runs and did actually hit a home run in that last shot. He actually
Nice.
cranked that out of the park. They were shocked how much he could hit or how far he could hit a ball. So he actually, and he is big, looks big. He actually can crank it. Didn't see that one coming. And then you have Charlie
Cranks
Sheen.
it all the time.
Yeah, right. Cranks it with Daniel. You got, and then you have Charlie Sheen, which I don't know if you guys know this, but he actually was recruited by the University of Kansas when he was in high school, and he was actually a pretty high level prospect. Said he could throw in the high 80s. This was when he was a little younger, did some movies because of who his dad is and all that stuff. And then he started throwing for this, and it was like low 80s, high 70s. So he started taking steroids to get it back to the mid 80s. And not only that, they actually
took a
moved
drug.
the plate 10 feet up to make it look like he was throwing it even faster. But he
Okay.
was an actual pitcher. So if you watch his movement and everything, it's pretty natural. There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
Nice.
unlike the starter, the grandpa who.
Horrible.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Harris.
Yeah.
Harris. So there's some funny stuff on him because apparently he has claimed he is he was a 3-star athlete in high school. I don't know if that was table tennis or what, but it wasn't baseball. I'm going to just say that. He says he was a 3-star athlete, but yes, watching him throw a baseball, wolf. A couple more. So Bob Uecker as the great Harry Doyle pretty much ad-libbed the entire movie, which I think was pretty obvious if you know him. He's actually a major league announcer. He was at the time for the Brewers out of all teams. But he was famously a funny personality. He actually wrote a book that was about him batting 200. Like it was a joke book about him being a bad hitter and somehow being in the major league for 10 plus years and surviving, even though he couldn't hit. So he was always a funny guy.
Wasn't it called Catcher in the Rye?
It was. Dang, somebody did some research. I didn't even have that written, but that is what it was called. I read it when I was a kid. So he ad-libbed everything. The just a bit outside part, he actually said he used to say before this movie even. So you might have heard it and him announcing, but obviously he coined that phrase. We touched on how this was filmed mostly in Milwaukee. Some of it was in Arizona for the spring training, which is where they are now. So that's kind of a fun fact that we're doing this in March. And the last fact I'll leave with is, did anybody know that there was an alternate ending for this movie?
No.
No,
I
did
saw
they
that,
lose?
but I
No.
didn't read it.
They didn't lose, but Rachel Phelps, after they win, tries to basically become a sympathetic character and say that it was because of her that they had won because she got them to get rid of all their weaknesses and come together and win despite her. And so she tries to win them back by saying it was all her, and she becomes a sympathetic character. Apparently, they ran that in test audiences and they hated it because they hated her so much. She was such a good heel that they just left it. So they actually refilmed the scene where Wild Thing comes out and she says, I hate this fucking song. That was all refilmed because nobody liked her trying to, say, "Oh,
Trying to be the good guy.
Yeah, she came back and tried to say, go team. And nobody wanted that because she was such a good heel. Anybody got any other ones?
I did not.
I didn't look anything up, to be honest.
It's okay. As we talk, I'll probably have some more stuff, but I thought those were kind of the fun things to touch on. All right, let's get into the questions. Favorite thing about the movie? All right, birthday boy. You're up.
I get to go first?
You do.
All right.
It's your birthday.
My favorite part of the movie is Jake taking the bullpen car to figure out where Lynn's house is after he sees her in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that
How
scene.
fast do you think that car was
My
going?
car's all the way on the other side. What's the closest thing I can get? You can take the bullpen car.
I wonder if he took the sidewalk for that.
I love that he's got his shin guards on in that scene still.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
me too.
One of them's hanging off like limp, like smacking him in the knee as he's walking.
He's trying to take him off, yeah. Daniel, what was your favorite thing?
My favorite thing is that I love baseball, and this is probably the most fun baseball movie out there. It's just such a fun baseball movie, and I love it.
Nice. It
I
really
will
is
argue
fun.
most fun baseball movie. The Sandlot.
What would you argue?
I'll argue that The Sandlot is a more fun baseball movie than Major League, but I love Major League.
Interesting. I get both of them.
Fight me, Daniel.
Well, there's
Yeah, I was
not
gonna
the
say, you
thing
guys
about
should
the
fight.
Sandlot is it's about baseball, but it's not about baseball.
Yeah,
That's
it's about
fair.
kids growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. It'd be hard for me to judge on that one in terms of fun. Funny, I laugh more with Major League, but there are some fun moments that are unrivaled in Sandlot as well. Eric, what was your favorite thing?
My favorite thing was just that it was an underdog story. Like the whole Cleveland sucking and no one giving a shit.
Yeah,
But then they got
Absolutely.
good. Yeah. I just like that part.
nice, nice. Kevin,
Mine kind of goes with that because my favorite thing is that it revolves around Cleveland, and it actually portrays the fans in the city really, really well as being an underdog all of the time, and like loving their team even though they know that they suck and they don't put a good product on the field, but they're going to be there rooting for them anyways.
Yep. Yeah, so that's kind of my favorite thing too, which is a big shock. And it's funny, the first scene in the movie is actually the Guardians. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
The
Guardians
Guardians.
I
That's
did
the
notice
First
that.
thing that you
I
see are the
didn't.
Guardians. I
didn't
thought that
catch
was cool. But yeah, I would agree with my favorite part about this is the underdog story and it's the ultimate fuck you story for a sports movie. Like all these guys are outcasts. She's trying to get them to leave to go to another city, which again happens to Cleveland later on. I love how this is through and through a Cleveland movie because it takes the lore of those. It shows them winning in 48, them losing in 54 to the Giants, and it on and on and on. People actually lived through that. That was the real story of the Indians back then. They were a joke when this movie came out, an absolute joke. They didn't get good until we were kids in the 90s, but in the 80s, they were a horrible team.
And that was after
70s, horrible.
And that was after a new baseball stadium was built.
Yeah,
how much influence did this movie have on Jacobs Field getting built?
It had to have, because this movie came out in what, 89, and
89.
Jacob Seal was 94. Right, and
Yeah.
Jacob Seal was 94.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree that this probably scared the shit out of some owners and probably made some headway in that. I would agree with that. I did want to tell one quick story about how much I loved the Indians during the first time I saw this movie, and I hope my parents are listening and laugh at this. But when I was at around 7 or 8, I first saw this movie, and there was a time when my grandpa Roger had tickets to go to an Indians game, but unfortunately, my great grandma died, his mother-in-law. And so we couldn't go to the game anymore. I was 7 or 8. I begged them to take me, even though, of course, they had to go to the funeral. So my dad and his dad, or my other grandpa, came up, took me to a game. And so I, instead of going to my great grandma's funeral, went to an Indians game. So
Hey, yo, people grieve in different ways.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. So
that's true.
Insane.
So you can tell how much I was obsessed with this movie when I was this age. Like, this is the first time I saw this movie. It was probably around that age, and I was skipping funerals to go see a game. So yeah, this was definitely up my alley. All right. Least favorite part about the movie. All right, Kevin. What was your least favorite thing? Let's get it over with.
Mine kind of goes with my very first thing. It's about Cleveland and the struggle that we've had to get I'm saying we, but fans of Cleveland have had to get a championship. We had one in the NBA, but other than that, nothing else.
Yeah. That's a struggle for sure.
You stole Daniel's bit with your favorite thing being your least favorite thing, too.
Kevin,
I did.
don't be so
I did.
sad. Good things are
did.
coming.
That's right.
Eventually.
Let
Why
them
you
know.
gotta always be that grumpy and sad, Kevin?
Kevin,
Cleveland.
here's the good part about this movie is no news is bad news. And this made everybody know about Cleveland, this movie.
Yeah.
Whether
Well,
it was
there's that
about
funny-
something bad or not, it like everybody knew who the Cleveland Indians were after this movie.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's that scene where the old lady says, I didn't know they still had a team in Cleveland. Daniel, what was your least favorite thing?
My least favorite thing about this movie is how unrealistic it is that there's street parking all over Cleveland.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Everywhere they go, they're just street parking. And not even like parallel parking, just like come around the corner,
Pulling in.
there's a spot. Whoop. That's bullshit.
Yep.
I've been
Yeah,
to Cleveland.
bullshit.
There are definitely some of those things that happened.
It's
in this
different in the
movie that you're
80s,
like,
man. There was just parking everywhere.
Yeah, apparently.
Parking everywhere. You
Uh,
can't even imagine.
Dave, what was your least favorite thing?
My least favorite thing was the unawareness of how they got a hold of the owner's naked picture for them to tear all the pieces off. I need a story behind how they got a hold of that. It can't just be this like out of nowhere thing that nobody knows how they got a hold of her naked photo.
She was a showgirl, Dave. It's probably an advertisement for an old show that she was on.
Is that what she was a
Yeah,
showgirl? Is that her story?
She was.
A former showgirl.
Yep.
They'd say it
She
multiple
is.
times.
I missed that.
So I was thinking, I mean, you had a good point, and then I was thinking it through, kind of like Daniel, and I'm thinking, showgirl. Yeah, I think that would be why, maybe. But still, like, they had to print that out or something.
yeah. Also, didn't
Yeah, it's
like
not super realistic. I'm just giving what
a little
defense
context.
I can.
Yeah.
also didn't like
I was thinking
seeing
that too.
Serrano working out in his jockstrap. Could have done without that.
Him curling
Intimidated by the
in the middle of the locker room.
Just in the middle of the locker room.
Classic. No one else is doing anything. It's not even time to work out. Eric, what about you?
My least favorite thing was that end scene where we had a slow motion fucking chaw spit. It was gross. And
Oh yeah, that
loose
was
lips,
hilarious.
lose dips, as we all know.
Nice. That's a good answer. That was pretty disgusting.
Yeah, it was real gross.
My least favorite thing, I have a nitpick, but my least favorite thing that we already talked about was that most of this was filmed in Milwaukee. That kind of sucks when you're the Cleveland fan and you want it to be filmed in your own town and they win the division against the Yankees and it's in Milwaukee. But my nitpick is Jake Taylor is on league minimum, right? So it's fine because he's washed, and I'm okay with him being on minimum because of that. But he was a 2-time All-Star, so he probably had some money not to be living in a halfway house with Rick Vaughn, or what it felt like a halfway house. And so I looked it up because I was curious. And the league minimum back then, with inflation, would be around 140 to 160,000 now. So
I'd take that.
I don't think he would be driving a car without hubcaps, is what I'm trying to say. Because his car was shitty.
Maybe
his apartment was shitty. He shared it.
Maybe he spent it all in Mexico.
Yeah.
Maybe, but this year, maybe he's got debt. I don't know, but it's just not explained. They act like league minimum is like, $10 an hour or something.
Yeah, they're
but
acting like it's like
about
minor league pay or some shit.
Yeah, right. It's 100% not back then. I mean, it was like 60-some thousand, but yeah, it comes up to about 140 to 160,000 a year, which isn't bad for the normal person.
Yeah, especially in Cleveland.
Yeah, right. That goes a long way in Cleveland. All right, next category we've got who won the movie. Dave, who won the movie?
I think I got one that's going to be different than all of you guys. I have Rachel Phelps.
Let's hear it.
I have Rachel Phelps, the owner of the Indians, as the winner of this movie. She moneyballed the Indians by not having these guys worth anything, having a winning franchise out of it, and now she gets to stay in the great city of Cleveland.
So you're saying what the alternate ending was, basically. That is hilarious. Without knowing that was the alternate ending. Man, you were in touch with this movie. Very good. Nice. Kevin, who won the movie for you?
I put the Indians inside this movie.
That was
not the actual team. Yeah, because there's a team that was set up to fail and they won the division to make the playoffs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Daniel?
Wait. There it is.
For me, I said the city of Cleveland won because Cleveland has a classic sports movie, and I'm not talking about Draft Day.
There's the thing. Eric, what about you?
I said Willie Mays Hayes. Because he won the game.
Yeah. I also think that's a good answer because he comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, he wasn't even invited to the camp.
Right. He's not even invited, and he makes the team and bats like 290 something and he scores the winning run.
There's also no explanation of that as to just why he just was like, I'm just going to show up at Indians training camp.
I kind of like that, though, right?
Yeah, he's a mystery.
I love the Bob Uecker line when he's like, we don't know where he played, but I'm sure he did a hell of a job. I absolutely love it. I always think of that. So I thought about the Indians or Cleveland too, because that's definitely the right answer anyway. But I actually went with Jake Taylor. This was his last hurrah. He called the game-winning shot and then, beat it out a bunt with his old-ass knees. And he finally grows up and gets the girl he should have been with the whole time. That's a cool thing, too. Like, he ends up, reading the book. He grows up. He doesn't sleep around. Like he, becomes the person she wanted him to be. And again, he beats out the bunt with old knees. Daniel?
Reads a comic book version of the book.
Fair. Yes, that's true. That's true.
And he tailed her to find out where she lived, which is fucking creepy.
Twice.
Eric hates the creeps.
I'm not saying he's not creepy.
Yeah. Okay.
But back then, it was probably a little different. I mean, you didn't have Google to Google her address.
Yeah, and at least they knew each other. Like, that would be way creepier if it was just like some rando.
For sure.
Yeah, they obviously had plans together. Like, they were dating and, he messed up. But, yeah, I agree with Daniel. At least they knew each other. It wasn't like he, saw some girl in the, down the street and followed her.
Yeah.
That would have been way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next category we've got favorite song moment or score scene. All right, I'm going to go first. On brand.
Damn you.
I'm going to say Randy Newman's Burn On.
Damn it. That was like going to be everybody's.
It's so good. I know. Well, there is another good one, but I had to go with it. So this song was actually written in 1972, well before the movie came out. Wasn't written for the movie. Obviously, it was written for, the famous 1969 incident where, yes, the Cuyahoga River actually fucking caught fire.
Yes.
For real. And he wrote a song, and it actually wasn't really supposed to be like a romantic song about Cleveland. It was kind of mocking Cleveland, which is great because, the whole movie is about that. So it just, when I hear Burn On Big River, it gets me every time.
Mine was it was that song, but it was simply to quote Eric, Randy Newman has nothing but bangers.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Well, he is.
I agree with me.
That's a true statement. I mean,
Yeah.
for sure. Dave, what? Any other?
Well, I guess
talk on that
I'll take
that song?
the 80s montage backing track during the final Yankee game.
Yes.
It's so good.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Dude, it sounds like it should be in Mega Man.
Right.
It's like it
Yeah,
sounds like a video
agreed.
game song. Yeah.
It's just that classic
do love
80s
that.
backing track that almost sounds like one of those preset things on the keyboard that you can play.
Yes. Yes, it does.
I was listening to the soundtrack the other day, and that's on there for sure. Daniel, what about you?
I'll take it. It's the low-hanging fruit. It's right there. It's
Yeah.
Wild Thing.
It is.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
a banger of a song. You get the great iconic entrance. And then on top of it, John Moxley has taken it and started using it. And
Yes.
he's not from Cleveland, but he's an Ohio boy. So that
Yep.
brings some Ohio love back to it. And it's just a great song.
Nice. So I love the Wild Thing moment. I think him walking out to the song and throwing the 97, 99, 101 to strike out, the power hitter Haywood is awesome. One of the best scenes in sports history. And so that I got a top 5 best sports scenes
That's
shit.
and movie or baseball. Top 5 baseball scenes. All right. And so I tried to stay away from simple quotes like "you play ball like a girl" or "there's no crying in baseball," since that's more of a quote. I tried to go with an actual scene. So we got outside looking in. Sorry, Daniel. Is Henry Rowan Gardner throwing the ball from the outfield to home plate? That's probably 7. Number 6, the kids celebrating the end of the season with drinking beer and Bad News Bears. is phenomenal, but doesn't make the cut. So we got number 5. Dave mentioned Sandlot earlier. So Benny the Jet stealing home at the end of Sandlot.
Yep.
Got number 4, Field of Dreams, when Ray Kinsella, Kevin Costner, plays catch with his dad. Number 3 is Jeremy Brown's home run in Moneyball. Unfortunately, John's not on here, but
I know what you're talking about.
it's the dude who's the dude who's 240 pounds and never runs past first base. This time he cranks it, runs past first, and falls down trying to get to second. Everyone laughs at him because he's actually hit a home run and didn't even know it. This, of course, ends with the best line in the movie from Brad Pitt that we've already talked about. How can you not be romantic about baseball? Number 2, I had Charlie Sheen coming out to Wild Thing and striking out the guy that had killed him and giving the tribe a chance to win. And number 1, the final scene at bat in The Natural. Roy Hobbs hobbles out there off of his deathbed, literally. First fouls the ball off. Then he breaks his bat, Wonder Boy, and asks Bobby to pick him out a winner. And then he cranks the home run with epic-ass music. If you watch it again, it doesn't even feel like a real movie. It's incredible. One of the best sports scenes of all time, and definitely the best baseball scene of all time.
Man, no, it's a good list. It's your list. But not a single scene from Angels in the Outfield touched you. Not a single one. Hey,
Nacho butt? No.
it could happen.
Eric, what was your favorite song moment?
Wild Thing.
Nice.
I had Wild Thing as well.
Yeah.
But then
as
my
Daniel
backup
said.
was the sick ass 80s sounding, like video game sounding montage music because
Nice.
it was awesome.
Yeah, I love the music in this. Yeah, that soundtrack's great. All right, next category. Does this movie get made now? Eric, back to you. What do you think?
I said no because like I don't know. I just don't know if there's an audience for it as much now.
That's fair.
But that's coming from someone who doesn't watch sports and like isn't really into that world. I don't think they could strike or like capture lightning in a bottle again with it.
What's the latest
that.
sports movie? Because
Like,
I'll piggy.
What do you mean by that? Like,
'cause-
good? I agree
no,
with
just
Eric.
no,
actually,
just the
yeah.
latest one. I'm with that. I'm piggybacking off of Eric
love
here
sports movies.
as that. When was the last sports movie made? It's
Space Jam
An Adam
2?
Sandler movie?
Space Jam
The
2.
one where
Okay,
he's the
no,
scout?
Space Jam 2. That's. I mean, that's.
Well, the movie with Adam Sandler being like a scout was after that. That was like in the last 2 years or so. But still, that's not like. Yeah, I don't think this style of sports movie, especially, like, hasn't been done in a long time.
Yeah.
When did that
I'd
Bad
love
News
to see
Bears
it.
remake come out?
Oh boy. Wait, which one? The one with Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah.
Oh, that was like 2010, 2008.
Oh, okay.
That's still like 10 years.
I just
That was
saw
a
it on
long
TV
time
the
ago.
other day.
We were-
I thought it was more recent than that.
Oh, it's hilarious, but it's still old at this point. I'd love to see this as a Netflix show.
Iron Claw was like the first
Oh,
result. But
that's fair.
It's not
That's all right.
I mean it is sports, but it's not exactly
It's not like this.
What's
Iron Claw is definitely
the
that's
rest
the
wrestling
Von Erich movie.
Oh
with,
yeah.
Zac Efron.
And MJF.
Has anybody here seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
Me neither, but that's something we gotta go see. Anyways, I kind of agree with you, Eric. What do you guys think, Daniel and Kevin?
I was actually. Go ahead, Daniel.
I don't think it'd be made today simply because this is it's not a high budget comedy, but it's still like a comedy, a sports comedy, which we just don't see very much anymore.
No.
I would love to see more sports comedies made, but the problem is you have to have a good writing staff who understands sports at the same time. They can't just be comedic writers writing about a sport, otherwise it's going to fall flat. They have to be both comedic writers and sports fans to make a good sports movie that that sticks around.
Yeah, I agree with that. And now that I'm thinking more about it, I think the last like sports comedy, if you will, that I saw was with Woody Harrelson, and he is like an ex basketball coach and has to do community service, and so he like coaches some like physically challenged, mentally challenged kids.
Well,
And
there was that one with the the
decent.
soccer team too, the American Samoa soccer team.
Oh, I didn't see that one. That's right. Yeah,
I didn't see it, but it came out like last year.
But again, they've tried, and I just don't think like Eric said, like nothing's catching lightning in a bottle anymore with sports comedies. So I would love to see this as a Netflix show, like, and actually get the right casting for this would be hilarious. Like somebody to get, be the new Wesley Snipes, to be Rick Vaughn, that'd be hilarious. But
Yeah,
like maybe like a aging Chris Pratt as the Jake Taylor or something. I don't know.
yeah.
I could see
Kevin.
some fun casting for this.
Sorry, Matt. Kevin, we talked all over you. What was your take
Yeah.
on this?
I was actually going to argue and use the same reason that it probably could get made if it was done right. Not necessarily be exactly baseball, but just a sport underdog comedy. And with the right cast, right writers, now's the time to do it because there hasn't been one. And,
That's a good point.
I think the last one I can think of was that the
it is an
Replacements might be the
underserved-
last one that it was.
Yeah, it is an underserved market.
Nowadays, which is funny because when we were growing up, it was like saturated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to do it. Bench warmers. Yeah, you had the Replacements. You just had uber amounts of it.
Even hell, the Water Boy.
Yeah, there are all kinds of those. But now,
Well, I thought
Wow.
thought this was going to be a question that we didn't really have a lot to talk on. I thought we were all pretty much going to agree that like sports movies weren't made or weren't like really getting made right now. So I also made a top 5.
Oh yeah,
And
there it
I've
is.
got my top 5 Cleveland Indians players. All right, so I've got 3 outside looking ins, and then we'll get to my top 5. So outside looking in to our recently retired skipper, Terry Francona. I'll also go Charles Nagy and Jose Ramirez. Will make my outside looking in. Number 5, Jim Tomei. Number 4,
All right.
Kenny Lofton.
Ooh.
Number 3, Cece Sabathia. Number 2,
Loved him some Lucky Charms.
Sandy Alomar Jr. And my number 1 favorite Cleveland Indians player, Omar Vizquel.
Omar, yeah, amigo.
Nice.
Yeah. Sandy Alomar Jr. is why my number is always 9 when I like played sports or when I like create a character. It's always 9 because he was number 9 and played second base, and I played second base. So I was like, "Oh, I like
Roberto.
him. He's good."
Roberto played second.
That's Roberto.
Roberto played second.
Sandy
Sandy
played
played catcher.
Sandy was the
And he was
catcher.
15.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was like, I think 15.
Okay.
But
My B. Obviously, my team is not the Indians / Guardians, but that's my B. That's me speaking where I shouldn't have spoke. I apologize.
As soon as Daniel said the number didn't catch me. It was as soon as you said second base that my mind started going, wait a second.
it's a nice list. My only question was no Bob Feller.
I was more sticking to guys that we saw
Your favorite.
play.
That's fair.
Like
I'm
not
cool with
top,
that.
like
get
not
you.
the best Indian players, but the guys that I grew up with, the people that I saw
I'm
play.
fine with it.
I guess the only one that
I
isn't
like that.
there is Terry, but Terry Francona as our manager, like that's why he gets the outside looking in omission.
Yeah,
Matt, what?
I'm good with it.
What position did Bob Feller play?
He was a pitcher. He's the only pitcher to throw a no-hitter.
Speaking of
an opening
pitchers,
day. Oh, no
I
way.
have
You were top
a top 5 pitches. Top 5 pitches.
Oh, interesting.
So at number 5, I have the changeup, which is, Eric, that's basically a slow ball. So you throw it and it goes slower than a normal ball. So people swing at it too fast.
It goes like
Number
this.
4, I have the knuckleball. Eric, a knuckleball is when you push the ball instead of throwing the ball, and the ball catches the wind and just does all sorts of funky shit.
Okay.
Number 3 is a slider. Now, Eric, a slider is a pitch that comes and it goes down and across the strike zone. So it moves diagonally.
Like this.
Number 2, I have the curveball, which, Eric, a curveball is just a slow ball that curves down.
It curves down. It doesn't curve that way. It just curves down.
Correct.
Well, there's the 12 to 6. There's the,
I'm trying to give it to him basic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give it to him basic.
Sorry.
Don't shortchange Eric. Don't you shortchange Eric. Stop it. Don't you shortchange Eric.
Eric's not a sportsman. I'm trying to put this in the easiest terms possible for him.
You're doing great.
Kevin doesn't know what any of these pitches are either.
I know a few of them.
And the number 1 pitch is the fastball, which, Eric, a fastball is where you throw the ball fast.
This list is mid.
It doesn't. It does.
What? It's my
Where's
list.
the KY jelly ball? Where's the KY jelly ball?
Fucking list, Dave.
They say the hardest pitch to hit is a good fastball.
Yeah, I believe
It's true.
So it doesn't rotate.
The fastball does rotate.
It's just high heat, Eric.
I thought you were going to originally just actually put a specific pitch of a pitcher on a mound during a game as your top 5 pitchers.
Randy Johnson.
Number 1 is Randy
Johnson
Johnson
slider.
exploding that bird.
Oh yeah, that is the best pitcher of all time.
Number 1 with a bullet.
It didn't even make the play.
I forgot to mention this during the song portion of the questions, but going back to Wild Thing, I love that the original reason that they started calling him Wild Thing is because he couldn't hit anything. Like that's how they changed the words, because he couldn't hit the strike zone. Was wild.
They said you walk everything.
You walk everything. That's the line. You walk everything.
Yeah.
Those guys are the best. Those guys in the stands hitting the drum and stuff. Oh, those guys are hilarious. All right. We ready for the best lines?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be another long one.
Favorite. I know. Favorite line from the movie. Oh.
That's me.
Easter egg. Whoops. All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
I'll go.
All right. Daniel, then Kevin.
This guy's dead.
Yes.
All right, we'll take him off the list.
Cross him off.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
No, man.
Just because we touched on it earlier a little bit, I played for the Indians. Here in Cleveland, I didn't know they still had a team. Yep, we got uniforms and everything. It's really great.
We got uniforms and everything. I love it.
I didn't know they still had a team.
Yeah, we got uniforms and everything. It's really great.
Love it. Eric?
Brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
Dude, there's so many good from the announcer.
Yeah.
Like, what's this?
Yes, there are.
Taylor's pointing to the bleachers. He's calling his shot. Nobody's done this since Babe Ruth in the 32 World Series.
I had a lot of it's so hard to debate on this. I ended up going with when they're all kind of bummed that they found out they're going to move the team, and Jake Taylor's like, well then, I guess there's only one thing left to do. Win the whole fucking thing.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do.
What's that?
Win the whole fucking thing.
I think about that all the time. Anytime, like, I want my team to win, that's the line I say.
There's only
to
one
myself,
thing to do.
even though I'm not playing. Win the whole fucking thing.
Well, there's Bob Uecker has so many great lines. Like, I actually, when I had MLB.TV, I would watch Brewers games sometimes with the local announcers, just so I could listen to Bob Uecker.
Nice.
But he has one of my favorite lines is he says something and then he goes, "God damn it." And his guy, his his color guy goes, "You can't say that on over the air." And he goes, "Don't worry, kid. No one's listening anyway."
You can't say goddamn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Speaking of the color man, he's not the best color man in the league for nothing, folks.
Kevin?
Well, the original line for the goddamn one was one hit, that's all we got.
Oh, yeah. One goddamn hit.
But the other one, what league you been playing in? California Penal. Never heard of it. How'd you end up playing there? Stole a car.
How'd you end up playing there?
Stole a car.
I think an underrated one that, every time I watch it, I find one that I like that I didn't like before or think about. And this one was when it's 8-0 and Wild Thing drills that guy after the other guy hits a grand slam and Uecker goes, "It's about time."
About time, it's 8-0.
Finally something happens.
I love when Harris says, "Are you trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?"
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? Okay.
Yes, Joe Boo. I mean, you got to go with, "Fuck you, Joe Boo. I do this on my own."
Fuck you, Joe Boo. I do it myself.
I say, "Fuck you, Joe Boo."
I love the shots of the Japanese field guys, and it's just the subtitles are before the season starts is they're shitty, and then like halfway through the season they're still shitty.
Yes. You're gonna set up for
that's my kind of team.
My kind of team, Charlie. It's my kind of team.
What does he say? I say we all give him a big old shit burger.
I'd like to hang around and see if we can give them all a nice big shit burger to eat.
Because the writer said we should go out back and shoot ourselves.
The writer said
writers saying
everyone
that.
a lot of time if we just go out back and
The local press seems to think we'd save everyone a lot of time and trouble if we just went out and shot ourselves.
Great.
Well, I'm all for wasting some sports writers' time, so how about we give them a big old shit burger?
Whenever Wild Thing comes walking up for spring training,
look at this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely another one I'd say a lot. Oh my god. So many good ones. We got this on Blu-ray from the library, and they actually had on the extra scenes or whatever, the extras, they had a thing with Bob Uecker, and there were some lines that he had said that didn't even make the cut. Like they said, like he was like gold. Like we watched some of his outtakes, and they were hilarious. Like even those were funny, and they didn't even make it. Like he had so many funny lines in that movie. It's easily one of the most quotable 80s movies.
Yeah, he was amazing.
How many they actually added in that they didn't want it in, but they snuck it in because it was that good, and they still left that many out.
Yeah, I'm sure there were quite a bit. Yeah, they said that, again, we mentioned earlier, but he ad-libbed everything. Like it was just natural. Like he was already in commercials. He was in all kinds of stuff before this, so none of this was difficult. He was a natural at this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a play-by-play guy for how many years before this started?
A long time.
Yeah. So like,
yeah,
and he did have that signature deadpan humor even in his real
it's like, yep.
broadcasts.
Yeah, and like I said, even in his books, like I mean, everything he's done, it's that same humor. So, yeah, he's got so many good lines. All right, we ready for the off-screen drunk? All right, let's do it. There's a lot. I wouldn't leave that rum sitting around with these guys.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Dave, I'm on screen
Guys,
drunk.
it's
I've already told you.
it's
this.
Kevin. Yeah, but to the audio audience, you're off screen. So Kevin.
Oh, that's fair. That is fair. All right, Kevin, why don't you go first?
I went with the obvious choice, Charlie Sheen, for known reasons from the public.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Daniel?
I'll take Grandpa Harris because he stole Jobu's rum, man.
Yep. Up your butt, Joe Boo.
Hey, bartender.
Hey, bartender. Eric, who was the off-screen drunk for you?
I said the entire team.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's fair.
I actually just said everyone.
Yeah. Oh, that was the right time too. Dave?
I said Charlie Donovan, the GM, because he was how conflicted he was. He's got the owner that wants him to lose, and he wants to win.
Yeah. Dang, that's a good one. So we all had different answers here. I actually went with Lou Brown. And main reason I said this is because the actor James Gammon was, I mean, obviously you can hear in his voice he was a smoker, and you could probably guess that he was a big partier. Well, when Charlie Sheen did an interview about this movie, he had talked about how him and James Gammon would stay up like till 6, 7 a.m. getting fucked up and then filming an hour later. And Charlie Sheen would joke that James Gammon was still stuck on the bar. He was so drunk, and like his hangovers were notoriously bad. Like this guy was just miserable trying to film, and Charlie Sheen and him would be playing cards and having girls fly out. I mean, like I wish there were more stories, but that's what Charlie Sheen's given us. And apparently James Gammon went hard in the paint. And you can tell by his voice. I think you can sense it.
Yes. I forgot who the character Lou was, but when you said you could tell by his voice, I was like, oh, it's the coach.
Yeah.
Because he talks like this.
Exactly. Don't give me that Olay bullshit.
Yo,
I forgot that one.
Bob Uecker is still alive, and that motherfucker is 90 years old.
That's
Nice.
crazy.
Damn.
Lou Brown, not alive.
Shocker.
Right.
Apparently.
He's stuck at the bar.
Yeah, he's stuck at the bar. All right, I'm excited about this next one. Now we cast our friends.
Man, I tried. I got
What,
a couple.
Dave?
I got a couple.
Yeah.
Let me go first since
All
I've
right,
only
you go first.
I got two.
Yeah. All right.
I got John as Serrano because he's just doing John is just doing weird shit in the clubhouse. Like
That's fair.
he's just fucking,
That's fair.
He's got
I
some
didn't
crazy
think of
shit
that.
going on that's like his fuck. Why am I blanking on the word?
Snake.
Like ritual. Like he's got his thing, like he's gonna
rituals.
have things that he has to do every time whenever he goes out onto the baseball field. And then I've got Daniel as Daniel's Dorn because he's the heel on the team. Fucking muffs that throw to first to mess up.
Can I change my
to mess
answer?
up Wild Things? To mess up Wild Things game. And then he goes and cheats on his wife. Like just straight heel moves. Like what are you doing?
The not getting in front of the damn ball would be Daniel, I think.
I get nailed by the ball. Are you kidding me? If there's one thing I do,
didn't
it's
put
get
you,
in
don't
front of the
worry.
ball.
Bro,
I can't hit
remember-
the ball.
Remember
that's
that
fair. Maybe you
Sandlot
just
game
don't
that we
feel
played
it.
where Daniel took that ball off the knee and it like
Oh,
swelled up
yeah,
like a
that's true.
second kneecap?
All right, I'll retract. I didn't have him as this anyway, so I'll retract.
Yeah. Now I will give you everything else. I am not a good baseball player. But if there's one thing that does happen to me, it's the ball is attracted to my mass.
Yeah, that is fair. That's a good point. Kevin, why don't you go next?
I'll be honest. There was too many extremes for each character. I wasn't able to pinpoint somebody down.
Oh man! All right, Daniel.
Boo this
Boo.
man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Boo.
I've got Kevin as Grandpa because he aches. He's an old man. Kevin would definitely he wouldn't cheat, but he would bend the rules effectively with the shit underneath his shirt. The Chris.
I love
that's Chris.
Harris's grandpa.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was like 47 when this was.
I'm really bummed that I missed this because Kevin would definitely take an outcast of Misfits and think that he can turn him into something good. That's a good one, Daniel. I like that one.
Yeah. As for me, I cast myself as Dorn's wife because she's the one who turns heel.
she really
turns
does.
heel. She's not just a straight up heel. Because Dorn's a heel the whole time. You're never like, oh yeah, that guy. Except for strike this motherfucker out. That's the only time he's a good guy. Otherwise, you're like, man, fuck Dorn. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But she fucks around, intentionally chooses one of his teammates, and then right before he's leaving to go to a playoff game, goes, oh yeah, and I fucked him.
Yeah, that's pretty heel.
Yeah. And that's a turn because she's nice. She's getting coffee. She's being nice in the beginning when you see her, and then she does that. You're just like, oh, okay.
That's a Daniel move.
Yeah, that's the main thing is that there has to be a turn. You can't just be a complete heel. You have to be with them and then turn on them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, signature Daniel.
I'm a piece of shit, but I have to reveal myself as a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
I also took myself as the manager because, number one, mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Number two, I feel like I'm not one for speeches, and then I end up giving speeches. So yeah, there's that. Let's see, Matt. I've got you as Willie Mays Hayes because I think that you would see a baseball tryout and just be like, I could probably do that, and then go and try it and just see.
Yep, that's fair. That's a good answer.
Why not?
Dave, you are a wild thing because I think you would be very hesitant to get glasses. Then you'd be very pouty about the glasses that you got until you went out and got some super fashionable glasses. Then you would be like, okay, all right, now I'll wear them.
That's fair. That is fair.
And Eric, you're Jake Taylor because, you're eternally a child, but I think that's a good thing. But in the end, you're gonna lay down that butt and leg one out, even though you're an old man suffering from the knees.
Yep.
Nice.
That's true.
Very nice.
Very
Eric?
well done. I had a few. So I actually said Dave was Dorn because I can see him not wanting to get in front of the ball, but then ultimately being a team player in the end. Daniel, I also said you were the GM because you start with the owner, but then you flip
Oh, I turn
when
heel
they're
on
winning.
her.
Yeah, you turn heel on her.
Well, I turn face,
Well,
which
yeah,
is part of my flip-flopping,
Yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily a heel turn, but it's a heel turn to someone.
Yes.
In that case, the ultimate heel. So you turn face.
Also, him going. I can see that.
That too.
I mean,
Kevin,
one of my signature catchphrases is fart noise.
Yep. I was with Daniel about Kevin too. He's Grandpa, the religious dude, because he can't leave it alone. It being anything. It being something that he disagrees with or thinks is wrong.
Yes.
And then I also said he was Lou because Kevin's the only one who's going to talk like this later in life. Beth, can you go get me some Pall Malls? Get a 30 rack of Bush, too.
2 things she'll never buy for me.
Yeah, that's also true.
I said John is one of the fans in the stand when the Indians sucked because he just wants to watch baseball.
Yep.
That's it. I said Mr. Tommy is Harry Doyle, the announcer, because he's sarcastic and doesn't give a shit if anyone's listening.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank you. I didn't have it down, but I'm going to agree completely with Matt is Willie Mays because he would find the sports thing and be like, "Oh, I'm going to do that." Wherever he is.
That's all.
Just try to be part of it.
Yeah, when we were in Miami last year, he decided to do something called the Murph, which is like a big CrossFit workout thing. So he got up at like 7 a.m. from our resort in Miami, where we had been out drinking the night before
I was hungover
in Miami. And he was like, I'm going to find me a CrossFit place so I can do this workout that involves like wearing a weighted vest and like running and jumping and lifting. And it's just like I woke up and he came back and I was like sipping a Monster, like getting ready for my day, and he had already done all that shit and was like all sweaty and tired. And I was like, you don't do vacations the same way I do.
Also,
you're not good at vacation, are you?
Funny thing was that the gym that I went to, no one spoke English.
Hell yeah.
I didn't talk to a single person until after the workout, and they were like, "Oh, you speak English." Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. Like they gave the whole instructions, they gave all of that in Spanish, and I had no idea what they were saying. I know the workouts, so I didn't have to say anything. But it was like lost in translation.
I was like, "How did you know what you were doing?"
Yeah.
Luckily, it's like a famous. It's a workout we do every year. I do every year. So, but I had no idea what they were saying. I had no clue. So that's a really good answer because that happened or happens. All right, so I definitely have a couple repeats. I actually also with Eric Sid Roger Dorn was our very own Dave. He's just the talent.
He's the talent. Yeah,
he's got free agency coming up next year. He's not taking one to the face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm pretty pumped about this one, but I actually said John is Willie Mays Hayes. He's a lovable shithead. One thing in particular, though, that stood out to me, it's when Willie Mays Hayes comes up in spring training and he does that bat flip and it just goes straight into the ground and he fumbles it. That is the equivalent to John's misdribble on the plum porch.
Bowers rule.
Where it goes all the way down the hill.
Bowers
that
rule.
Is literally that moment. I was like, oh, that was like a moment of clarity. That is John's dribbling. Also, I could picture John taking the little snake instead of the big snake.
Yeah. Sounds like it worked for him. Here's a tiny little gardener snake I found.
For sure.
And John would definitely
said
be the guy over there going, like, asking questions about the religion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I said I was Jake Taylor, being a lifer that's going to try to hang on and go as long as possible, no matter how bad my body hurts.
Yeah, actually, that push yourself too far.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to insert that John dribbling clip in here.
Bowers rule.
That's a must comparison. I said actually Brad was Lou Brown.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He would talk. He talk like this.
So he's gonna talk like that, and he's probably gonna be I said he's gonna have a badass smoker voice, and would be the only one with enough balls to do something like take out Doran's contract and piss on it right in front of him. No one of us are going to do that. But Brad's probably going to be chippy enough, right?
Yeah.
He's going to get chippy and do
Shit
that.
in a shoebox.
Damn DoorDash delivered my food to the wrong place again.
I said Daniel is Rachel Phelps because he's the heel, which I think it's funnier with the heel turn. But I also said because he would move the team to South Beach because we're going to Miami.
I don't think so because Daniel doesn't want to move.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I would never do that to believe.
All right, maybe he is Charlie.
Yeah.
Good. I trust you. I said Kevin was one of the Asian groundskeepers. because he's always working and was a big fan of the movie Crazy Rich Asians.
And boy does love to work.
Right. They're still shitty.
That caught me off guard.
And I'll wrap it up with I said that Miles is Wild Thing. He's already the rebel of the family, and he's got a big arm for a 4-year-old. Better watch out.
Yeah,
he's going to go to jail for stealing a car.
California penal.
No, it's the Cuyahoga penal system.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Here it's a Cuyahoga.
Cuyahoga penal.
So that's my list.
I like it.
Yeah,
good job around, everyone.
Yeah,
except
that was
for Kevin because he didn't do anything.
It seems so extreme that I didn't want to insult anybody.
It was maybe because I've seen it a million times.
Instead, we insulted you.
It's okay.
And each other, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, that was collectively one of the most. I mean, there's so many characters and yeah, easy.
I'm surprised no
easy
one said Matt was Serrano because of the weightlifting thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Matt is Serrano.
Cody could be Serrano because Cody would do just about anything to win.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yep, that's true.
I could see Cody like selling out and just being like, "Let's slaughter a chicken, bro."
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man,
they told me it would work.
I forgot about them going. We should have got a live chicken.
Chicken.
That's another underrated line. All right, so now we do our podium roles for the top billed cast members. So I think this is an easy one. I said yes for everybody. What do you guys think?
Yeah, me too.
I said yes.
I said yes. The only one I actually had to dive deep in was Wesley Snipes, and I was looking more into it, and it's like,
yeah. I mean,
I think this is
it's like Blade, Demolition Man, and Major League, baby.
That's exactly what I wrote down.
Yeah.
I wrote the only one I had different was White Men Can't Jump, but that's a personal thing more so. I think Demolition Man is, probably better. Or New Jack City is another one of his that's big. But yeah, that's a good one. And then Charlie Sheen his biggest role was probably Platoon or this.
Right.
He's also in Wall Street, and he's in a bunch of movies again, but this is probably the cream of the crop for his character. This would again probably put him on the map.
Yeah.
Daniel?
Oh no, I was
yeah,
just doing the Macho Man.
Yeah.
I've got two things to say about all of it. First is a bunch of the casts on this are more well known for TV than movies. A majority of it. Like I was diving deep into it, I'm like that, and then also this has a very this relates to the Thomas Crown Affair.
Oh, Rene Russo.
Which is Rene Russo is the main character in the Thomas Crown Affair, and I'm like, oh yeah, I completely forgot she was in this movie.
Comedy.
I wondered if you would say that because she is.
I have to bring that up.
I actually had her for my movies for her as Tin Cup. She's the romantic.
Oh yeah,
that actually is a good romantic comedy. Dang, I kind of forgot about that. And then Nightcrawler
and the Thomas Crown Affair.
Yeah, and Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. She's really good in.
Yeah,
and it's a creepy movie. And then the other guy that
Lethal Weapon. You forgot Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah, and Lethal Weapon. She is good in that. Shoot. Well, and then there's Tom Berenger or the catcher, Jake Taylor. And he was actually nominated for a Best Supporting Actor in Platoon. Him and Charlie Sheen were both in that before this movie came out. And then he's also in Inception, if you guys remember that.
Yep, I wrote down Inception as a movie of his.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when this came out, or when Inception came out, I was like, oh my God, it's Jake Taylor. He's like a character actor most of the time. And he kind of is in that movie too. So obviously, again, all of these guys, were either character actors or more known for TV as things went on. So I think this is a yes for everybody. All right. And now we finish with our podium, our top podium. Is this, so we're going to do baseball movies. Is this a podium movie for your baseball podium movie?
Well said, man. Very well said.
Is this a podium movie for your all-time baseball list?
Is this a baseball list podium for baseball movies?
Yeah. All right, Dave. What's coming? Oh, the rum is kicking in. I left that rum sitting around my stomach.
Yes, this makes my podium, and my podium would probably go number 3, The Sandlot, number 2, Major League, and number 1, Moneyball.
Nice. Kevin.
Me, I'm very, very, very similar to Dave, but my number 3 is Bull Durham, and my number 2 is Moneyball. My number 1 is actually this movie.
Oh wow! I didn't wow, that's a plot twist.
Says he doesn't really like this movie, but it's his number 1 baseball movie.
Was it better this time you saw it?
I don't like baseball movies.
Was this better though than what
you don't
remember?
Like anything, Kevin?
The first time I watched this was actually in high school, and it wasn't one I grew up with. But it's one I can rewatch and enjoy now still. And the other two, I remember watching Bull Durham when I was a kid and watching it many times when I was a kid, randomly. And then Moneyball, I just really enjoyed. Like I just think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a Brad Pitt thing.
Yeah.
Look at how mad I made Kevin that he had to watch Love and Basketball. I spent far too much time on that today, but it's worth it.
It's so funny. Daniel?
For me, yes, it does. My 3 favorite baseball movies are Moneyball at number 3, Major League at number 2, and For the Love of the Game at number 1.
Nice. Great movie.
Yeah, Costner's less well-known baseball movie.
Yeah,
or less
so
well-known baseball movie, because he's got 2 other ones.
Yeah. Eric?
The podium. I said yes. It is on my podium. I don't know the order, but it would be this, The Sandlot, and then A League of Their Own.
Nice.
Oh yeah, League of Their Own's
So
really
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel, where was the?
That's a
where was
softball
baseball
movie,
on
but
your-
I'll allow it.
No, it's
That was a
not.
baseball movie.
They play baseball because the men are at war. They actually play baseball.
You're right. You're all right.
Yeah, Dave.
You sexy.
Shut the fuck up, Dave.
So sorry. Can we cut that out?
Girls don't play with a
Can we
different
edit that
ball.
out?
Oh wait,
Nope.
they do.
We're gonna repeat it 5 times.
I want to make this short.
Daniel, where was
Yeah.
this? Where was baseball in your all-time sports movie genres?
It was number
It was number
Was
one.
it number one?
Yeah, because
I
I,
agree
think
with it,
baseball
'cause
just lends itself to
Film.
film so well.
Yeah, I agree. This is extremely. I mean, it's so hard to pick a top 3 for this. I struggled so much. I even I can't not give a shout out to Bad News Bears for how funny that movie is. Like watching it when you're older. But my top 3 is The Sandlot at 3, Moneyball at number 2 because we all have similar, which is kind of cool. And number 1 is this, of course, Major League.
Nice.
This
Big
is
Moneyball guys in here.
Oh, Moneyball is
It's
incredible.
so good.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's a good.
I've never seen it.
This is probably the first. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably the first podium movie for any of us on our all-time podium because this would be on my all-time podium list. This movie. Does anybody? Have we watched any other? Oh,
Yeah.
That Thing You Do with Eric.
Yeah, That Thing You Do.
And we watched
there-
The Prestige with
Prestige for Daniel.
Yeah.
That's
Jurassic
right. Okay.
Park is probably on my top 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Our first one. Okay, so good. We all kind of have one. Kevin?
Don't go back and watch that episode. Don't do it.
No, we need to redo that one.
I think I have a top 3 mentioned in one of our side things, but not on a full episode.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Well, we hit a couple now. Now we keep going. Well, thanks for the pick, Dave. That was a good choice for your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on your favorite social media platforms for clips, updates, and opportunities to vote on a movie we watch. Please like and subscribe for us, please.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.